what is your name?
Claire Copeland.
And what year were you born?
1933.
And where was that?
In Memphis, Tennessee.
And did you grow up there?
No, I grew up in Boaz, Alabama, B-O-A-Z. And my daddy, practiced medicine, and he said that he did not want us to join the country club because they would not take Jews. We only had one Jewish family in the whole little city. And so I went swimming and I played tennis and everything at the park where everybody else did.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And brothers and sisters?
No, I had 3 sisters, no brothers. I wanted a brother really bad, an older brother, but I didn't have one. And my daddy wanted a basketball team, he said. He really did want a football team, but finally he settled for a basketball team. He didn't have any boys. He only had 4 little girls. So I've written a book all about it and everything, but I hadn't got it published.
Wow.
It's on, matchbooks and pieces of paper and everything.
And do you have a title for that book?
Well, no. I've got 3 or 4 I've thought about, but I do not have one title.
Do you have a favorite childhood memory?
Just playing tennis and going swimming, I reckon, was the main thing. And then high school, I really did like high school. And what happened after high school, I went to the University of Alabama, and they had a football team, and everything was just great. I mean, it was too good to be true. And then after high school, well, while I was still that's after high school, I was still in college, I met Paul Copeland, and then I knew really what love was. So I fell in love with him, and I've been dating this other boy from Auburn. Auburn and Alabama are really big rivals in football and everything. So Paul went to Auburn and I went to Alabama, and he really kept that road hot going back and forth to Alabama. But anyways, I've been married 60 years, and the first time that I ever met Paul, we hunted him all summer. We knew he was in school because, there was a small college in my town. Sneed College. All right, now it's a 4-year college, but back then it was just 2. And so Jackie kept saying that whenever he came in the door, that she would play the piano really loud. So I waited for her to play the piano really loud, and she never did. So finally, then one night she did play it really loud, so I knew he was here, and that he'd walked in the door. So we went on out there, and the boys were throwing knives and trying to stick them up in the ground. Everybody was sitting on the not the steps, but the porch. And so I don't know why they did that, but anyways, that's what they were doing. And so I said to Jackie, and I sort of whispered it to her, I said, anything I say, you say yes to. She said, oh, well, okay. So I said, well, some of us were going over to the house to eat watermelon because my daddy always had oodles of watermelon on the front porch because people would pay their bills in watermelons if they didn't have the money. So we went over there and we ate watermelon, and then we decided we'd go swimming in the park. So there was a big sign up there that said no swimming after 6 o'clock. Well, this was close to 8. So we went on swimming, and Paul Copeland said he was afraid that the police would come. He wasn't going swimming. I thought that maybe there was something wrong with him, that he had some kind of deformity or something. but it was just that he was afraid to go in swimming because of the police were coming. So then, well, Jackie was my best friend, and she and I spent the night together whenever we could, and it was either at her house or mine, and her daddy ended up being the principal at the high school. So he was in education, and of course my daddy was a doctor, and I'd clean shelves for him. He paid me 50 cents an hour. This was after I got married, to clean shelves and straighten up things and make the office really look nice. So I did that. And you know, you wouldn't make over $2 or $3 in the afternoon. And he'd say, sometimes, I would say, Daddy, do you want a limeade? Because then I could go down there and get a limeade, and he would give me a quarter. So a quarter would buy, you know, 2 limeades and 2 cookies, and you'd still have a nickel left over. So,
And what year was this?
oh gosh, I don't know. This is after I was married. So I was married in '56. It was about, I don't know. I taught school that first year that we were married because Paul Copeland was at Auburn and he was finishing up. I lacked another year at Alabama. And so I thought I could go ahead and, you know, teach school that year. And I did. And Mr. Steed was our principal. And he said that he had wanted to have faculty meeting on Wednesday afternoon. So my mother informed him that I had to play bridge on Wednesday afternoon, and I would have to be there at 2 o'clock to play bridge on Wednesday. And she didn't care whether or not, you know, he had faculty meeting or not, because it didn't matter to her. So he had to change it, of course. So then the biggest challenge, I guess, was learning to play duplicate bridge in my 20s and 30s. And I do not have any special talents. I always thought, you know, that I would invent something or be a Madame Curie or something. Didn't do that. So I did have a favorite movie and a favorite song. I cannot think of them. I do not know what they are. And what I'm most proud of in my life is my children. I have Margaret Claire is an attorney. She says, don't call me a lawyer, Mama, I'm an attorney. I said, oh, okay, I won't. And Bud is 4 years younger, and he works at the bank. He's a man that loans. He gives loans to people if they have, you know, like to the cleaners or to big people. He'd give them loans. I never knew that. I just thought anybody could give you a loan if you wanted to. Okay, the hardest thing about aging is losing somebody that you really love. And Paul Copeland, about 10 minutes is all he had. And he was saying, you've got to get me something for this headache. I have a bad headache. Well, he never even took an aspirin. So I tried to get him to take aspirin. No, he wouldn't do it. He said, we got to go to the doctor because the doctor can give me something for this headache. It's really bad. And all the time, you know, he was having a brain tumor burst in his head. So I didn't know that. And the doctor would not operate on him because he took Cumulin. He said that there would be blood everywhere, and said, I will not operate on him. Even if he was my brother, I wouldn't operate on him. I thought, well, blame your brother because I don't care. And I told him he had to operate on him. He said, nope, he wouldn't do it. So there's that. Now then, one bit of advice that I would like to tell others is that you tell them all that you love them, and that no matter what, You know, you can stick together and everything will be fine. When Kennedy died, that was the most historical moment that I could remember. And that was in 1959, I think, because it was a year before Bud was born in 60. And the main thing that I would like to be remembered as a hard-working individual and a happy one. And I wish that Paul had lived and I had died, but the good Lord didn't say it that way. So here I am, and I really do like this place to live. And they take care of me, all of my everything, and taxes included. So that's good. And then I can call Bud or I can call Mark Claire whenever. You know, 2 or 3 times people have tried to get me to do things. I mean, you know, they would say, oh, well, you have inherited $3 million. Just send me $20. And they'd say, no, Mother, don't send the $20 because you know they're not going to give you any $3 million. So that's a lesson I had to learn. But anyways, I did learn it. And let's see, I think that's about all. Is there anything else you want to know?
I think you did wonderful. I think you just about covered it.
Oh, I have written a book, but I don't know the name of it. I told you that before. And it's just my life story, you know. My sisters, and they were all younger than I was. So I would always be the one that was in charge. Mother would say, well, you watch the children now. I'm going to the post office, or I'm going up to help Daddy. And so they'd say, oh, you're not my mother. I don't have to mind you. And away we'd go. I don't know. That's all I knew.
Is there any particular way you'd like to be remembered by other people, by your kids or by anybody?
No, I don't think so, because I didn't invent anything. I haven't been very important at all. But I love people, and I like to get along with them, and I can do that. And I like to teach 3rd grade. I taught that about 30 years. No, 20 years. And we had really good principals every time except one. And I don't know what ever happened to him, but he was really bad. Okay, that's all I know.
That's a lot. Thank you very much.
Oh, good, good.